What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing here, back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we are here with the LYNN best build guide as of the later game going into the end game. Now for this right here, guys, it's only going to be purple or lower relics or demon wedges. We're not going to have anything that's going to be in the very end game at this point. I'm still recording this before I'm at the trial rank 55 or higher. So yeah, in terms of like the build, this is kind of how we're going to go about it. I'm going to explain LYNN's abilities, and then we'll go over how we're kind of building the character to maximize those abilities. So if you guys do enjoy videos like this, definitely make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And yeah, I definitely do appreciate the support. We recently hit that 3K. Let's go for 4K, guys. Now, with that out of the way, man, let's actually hop in here and let's go over her skills. So for the skills right here, her first skill here is going to be Deadly Blossom. Deals pyro damage to enemies in front and inflicts laceration. Laceration is going to be when under the influence of the laceration effect. Every time the enemy takes ranged weapon damage from LYNN, the lacerated rune count is going to be increased by 1. Now, when the laceration duration ends, deals pyro damage equivalent to the lacerated wound, X your laceration damage to the enemy once. So that is going to be pretty good. You can see the scaling here. You do gain a fairly good amount of damage on the enemy, and it can stack up to at least at the level 6 the 266% laceration damage, so it's very good. Now, moving on to her second skill here, Gunpowder's Revelry. This is going to be her ultimate and the main skill you're going to be using with this character. Switches the ranged weapon to Hansel and Gretel, and in this state, LYNN can shoot and use skills, but can only move using the Deadly Blossom skill. Now, shooting deals damage to all enemies in front, and during which LYNN gains 1 stack that increases LYNN's attack speed every 0.2 seconds up to 35 stacks, and using Hansel and Gretel continuously consumes sanity, during which LYNN is immune to hit stun when taking damage, and when sanity drops to 0 or the skill is used again, you sheath the Hansel and Gretel. So that is pretty much the way the kit is kind of structured. Now, in terms of how you want to be going about the build for the character, we wanted to go for a bunch of skill damage, a bunch of skill duration, and a bunch of skill efficiency. Now, I don't really think you need to touch skill range in my opinion. Her range on her actual attack is already fairly good, and you guys will see when I do show the footage a little bit later in the video. But for the most part, you're able to clear rooms fairly easily. Like unless the enemy is like super far away, you're usually going to be in the range where you're actually able to hit them. I think it's within about 50 meters, so it's going to be fine. Now, in terms of the actual relics that we have here, guys, the first one that we have is Ifrit's Devouring Wildfire, which is going to be skill damage plus 30%, and when a pyro character deals damage, gains 1 stack that increases attack by 1% for 15 seconds up to 120 stacks. Now, that is super good for LYNN because she's hitting so many times. She's dealing a bunch of damage very fast. So this is going to be an insanely strong demon wedge, and I highly do recommend this. Now, the next one is going to be the Griffin's Inferno, which gives you pyro attack plus 18%, skill damage plus 18%, and skill duration. All things that she is going to benefit from. The damage for the pyro attack, the skill damage will also boost her actual Hansel and Gretel damage, and then the skill duration is going to be at 12%, which is going to alleviate the amount of sanity cost that you're actually using with the actual Hansel and Gretel. Now, moving on, you want to get some max sanity, so I do have a max sanity plus 50 from the Phoenix Wings. I do also have the 75% attack rate there. And then I do have Typhon's Prime Serenity for the sanity regen, as this is going to be very nice, especially when I'm in ult for LYNN right here. It's going to drain my sanity a lot less because we're getting 7 every 3 seconds. And then also the fact that you're getting the attack, HP, and defense, I mean, those are all very good stats. Now, moving on to the next one here, we have the Covenanter's Blaze, the inspo version. This is going to be attack plus 48%, and then skill efficiency plus 12%, and this is a multiply equipable demon wedge. You're able to actually equip this multiple times, and this is actually a very good one. Now, the next one that I have is the exact same, but it has skill duration instead of the skill efficiency, and so I'm trying to make sure that I have a fairly good amount of both of those stats, so that when I'm actually using Hansel and Gretel, the drain for the ultimate is actually not going to be as much. Now, moving on to the Continent's Weapon and how I actually went about building this. As you guys can see, in terms of the stats that are important, it's going to be the spike attack, attack speed, trigger probability, and multi-shot. So if you actually go to the demon wedges here, I do have the first one here being the attack speed one. Now, this one's going to be very good because we're trying to improve the amount of damage we're able to deal per second, and the attack speed is going to be our damage per second, right? That's how we're able to get that. Now, the next one that I have here is going to be the trigger probability. Now, this one, again, guys, I will say about this is I would have the purple one right now, and all these, by the way, are from the Mystic Maze, but I do not have the currency right now because I accidentally bought the crit ones, which was a major mistake. This was a mistake when going into LYNN. She is not a crit based DPS on her, on her Continent's Weapon. Pretty much she is a trigger probability DPS, so she is going to be getting a bunch of the status effect that she's dealing, and that's going to be what deals a lot of damage. Yeah, right here, trigger probability, obviously you do want to have this at max, but I don't have a purple one yet, so I actually left it at 0. But the trigger probability is very important. She already has 50% at base, which is a very good amount. And then moving on to the next, demon wedge that I have here. This one is crit damage, which is not really like that important, really, guys. Again, because we talked about my crit chance is already, 12%. This goes from 150 to 225. It really is not that crazy, but because I do not have the multi-shot mod, which I would recommend over this, I would actually run that instead, because it just would boost my damage overall, and I would be benefiting a lot more, because you would be getting possibly double damage at some points because of the multi-shot itself, which again is very important. Now the last mod that I have here is going to be the attack percent 1, which is going to just be a flat attack percent. Goes from 287 to 503, so almost double, which is very good. So yeah, I mean, really good right there in terms of the demon wedges. Again, guys, I made a few mistakes in terms of the ones that I have equipped right here, but she still shreds everything. And once I am able to get the purple trigger probability and the multi-shot mod from the Mystic Maze shop, that's when this character's damage is going to skyrocket for me as well. So now that we've talked about the kit, guys, let's actually showcase exactly what she's able to do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to spawn in level 60 enemies, and I'm just going to show you guys how much damage we're actually able to deal. So I'm going to spawn in the Filthoids. I'm going to spawn in 20 of them as well, and I'm just going to show you what she does at base and how you want to go about playing the character. So the way that you go about using LYNN, in my opinion, is actually going in the air. You want to be very, very active with this character when using her. You want to be jumping up straight in the air and then going into her ultimate with the Gunpowder's Revelry. So just as an example here, I'm going to jump into the air. I'm going to use her ultimate, and as we're falling down, we're going to want to start dealing the damage. As you guys can see right there, we're able to hit pretty much everyone on the screen because we're able to be, higher in the sky. It's a little bit better because you have the high ground in a sense. So you're able to hit a lot more enemies easier, right? That's kind of the idea. So now that I've shown you guys what the damage looks like at base, again, it's about 15k right there. Let's talk about now the combat AI partners and the weapons that we're rocking to actually boost the stats that I have for my LYNN. So let's go actually back to the armory here, and first let's talk about the weapons for LYNN. So the weapons that we're actually running, which are going to be boosting our stats, is the Wayne Wraith right here, which gives me an extra 24% skill damage. And remember, skill damage is boosting the overall damage of the Constance weapon that she has. Now, the range weapon that I'm rocking is going to be the X-Crease Duo, which is a dual pistol that you guys can craft. It's from Secret Letter Clues. This one is going to be giving you another 24% skill damage. Now, I know a few people have been mentioning to me, even on stream, the Blue Current dual pistols. These are also very good too, but the thing is with them is that you have to actually shoot with this gun to get the dual pistol damage buff for the Continent's weapon of LYNN. So if you just want to just, ult with LYNN and only ever use the ult, then I would definitely recommend the stat stick one that I recommend here, the dual pistols that I already have equipped. But if you do want to run it to where, you have a little bit more of an active playstyle here and you run the Blue Current one, the Blue Current one will be pretty good because it gives you that 45% damage increase, and that will scale up depending on the amount of dupes you get for that weapon. So that is how I would go about it in terms of the weapons. And in terms of the combat AI, you're going to go with a Truffle and Filbert because she is going to give you the, again, HP and damage dealt. You have the healing and the damage percent boost. And then if we go to the next character being Margie, she is going to be providing 45% attack in the Margie Pep Song. And then we do have another 40% from the combat AI effect. Increases attack for self and allies, and then increases attack increase for other allies. So that is pretty much the setup right there. And so now I'm going to show you guys the difference in damage. So again, remember before we were doing about 15k crits on the enemy. So let's actually spawn in again level 60 enemies. I'm going to make sure that they're unactive so they can't move, and I'm just going to spawn them in again. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to put on Truffle and I'm going to put on Margie so we do get the buffs. So now let's actually go up to these enemies here and let's see exactly what we're doing. So we just got the buff right there. Now I'm going to start shooting at them, and as you guys can see, look at the damage, 24k damage right there, 25k damage, guys. If you guys saw some of those crits that were available, that's the type of damage that you're going to see when you're using LYNN with Truffle and then also with Margie, because you're getting almost double your damage. You're getting up to like 25k right there, which is an extra like 10k on your actual damage if you are critting. If you're not critting, you're still hitting like, you know, that like 10 to 15k range, which is still better than if you were running like another type of support on the team. So again, Truffle and Filbert and then Margie is going to be the way to go, and in my opinion is the, you know, the characters you want to run. So what I'll do, guys, so I'll have a bunch of gameplay on the screen here for my LYNN, and I'll just kind of talk about exactly why she's such a good character, you know, and why you want to be building the character. So in general, guys, LYNN is going to be really strong because right now in the immersive theater, the latest one, you are going to need a pyro DPS if you do not have an anemo one. The reason why this is the case is because in the later stages of the immortal repertoire, you're going to need the damage boost, because the way it works is that enemies are attribute dependent. If you have a pyro damage character in that fight, you are dealing 400% increased damage dealt, which is crazy. And so it's the same thing for Anemo as well, which is why right now at the point in the game, I'm gonna recommend you guys build LYNN so that when you are doing the featured repertoire and immortal repertoire, you are able to do a lot more damage by running a character that's already getting boosted. And so yeah, LYNN, in my opinion, guys, is one of the strongest characters in the game, has crazy AoE, and has really, really good, or, you know, if you have the sanity uptime, for single target as well. So that is going to be that right there, guys. Let me know what you guys think about LYNN in the comment section below. But that is going to be the build guide right there. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out. Have a great rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.